Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It is, we go ahead and it is Monday. We are getting started with our week, and today we're talking about how to organize your work and your life. I've asked some of our FemCity Global members to join me today for this conversation. If you are joining us live, feel free to ask questions, add comments, or love. We love that. And if you're watching the replay, don't worry about it. You can always reach out to our global members for actual additional support or resources, or to just ask questions as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Alyssa, I usually go alphabetical order, but I'm going to go with Anne, and then we'll go to Alyssa. And then if Delia pops in, we'll go ahead and add Delia as well to the mix. And share a little bit about who you are for those femmes that don't know who you are.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Anne. I'm the owner of Hilltop Operations and Consulting, and we love diving into the back end of businesses and really helping to organize people and help them get a solid structure and foundation to build their business.
Awesome, awesome. All right, let's go ahead. We have Delia is joining us now. Perfect. All right, Alyssa, share a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Williamson, and I'm an intuitive success coach. So this is exactly what I help my clients do. I help them find balance between life and business and really find lifestyle goals and then fit their business into their dreams so that they're living their best life and having an amazing business that supports that.
Awesome, awesome. All right, let's go to Delia. Hello, Delia. Share a little bit about who you are as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Delia Rusu, and I am a life coach for children. I help kids and teens develop confidence and learn how to really build a mindset for self-esteem, confidence, and for learning how to live a beautiful life full of possibilities.
Love it. All right, so let's dive in. We already have some femmes that are watching. We're so excited. We are live streaming into LinkedIn, YouTube, and our Facebook group. So if you ask a question, hopefully we can see who is asking. All right, so let's dive in. Anne, what is your number one tip? Because you know we love action over here. What is your number one tip to organize your work and life, or one or the other? Apps, schedules, habits. How do you manage it all?
So I would say the biggest thing that I do personally that works for me, and like you're mentioning, I mean, everybody has different potential suggestions, that sort of stuff that's going to work for them. But for me and my calendar, and I have two kids, so using a calendar, and I use one calendar that has both my personal and my business stuff on it. I have it color coded. I was the person in school that like color coded every single class and color coded everything. But anyway, so I do have my calendar color coded between personal and business to help me know and differentiate what is what. But I have to keep track of things on my calendar to know what's going on.
Yeah, I am. I have 3 calendars, and I probably should use your advice. I have the wall one, which is the family one, where we sketch in there like who's going where and what travel and all that stuff. And then I've got my personal through my Gmail, and then I have my work one. Even though Kyra tries to help me, like she does a really good job, I still mess up. So probably doing one calendar would be, and color coding it. That help. And you're color coding it based on subject or topic, or how?
I
How are you
color
color
code it
coding it?
versus personal and business, and then I have additional color coding that I do, like different shades of green for business things that I can color code and kind of adjust with it. But I use Google Calendar in particular. I'm sure Outlook does the same sort of thing. But with Google Calendar, I truly can even mark off the personal things as quote unquote free time still if I am available business wise. Because there are some things I have on there that like my husband takes my son to baseball or something like that. So it's still marked off as free time where I can be working at that time if it's within the hours I'm wanting to work, but I'm able to keep track of what's going on and who needs to be where in the family. So
Okay, I'm going to dive into that. I use Google Calendar also connected to Outlook, and I use it for both work because FemCity's service is through Google. So that, yeah, I have to look into that because that might help me out quite a bit. So thank you for that tip. All right, let's go to Alyssa. Alyssa, what is your number one tip to organize your work and life?
So, and I love that, Anne. That is so powerful in everything you do. And I'm, of course, going to go to the mindset side of things. And that's what I teach on, because it comes down to boundaries and self-worth and having those boundaries. I love how you said, Anne, if it's within the work hours that I want to work. because it is very easy for high achievers, type A, and I'm guilty of this in the past too, is you're like, oh, the work needs to be done. I'll just work till 7 or 8 at night. And so it's really having clarity on, when am I going to work? Like, what is family time? But the self-worth of, I deserve to have a break in the day. I deserve to take a walk. Self-care is a priority to me so that I can better perform for my clients. And so it really comes down to that mindset of, as you're implementing the tools, who are your priorities and where are your boundaries? Not letting clients contact you all the time, being clear, these are when I'm available. And if you want to be more available, having boundaries around that too. Hey, if it's on the weekend, I may not get back to you immediately because I may be busy, type thing. And really just being clear on, where am I going to let my life and how do I want my life to look? If I want to be available to clients, great, make that choice. But what does that look like? Or I'm only going to be available certain hours. This is when I work and this is what my family time looks like. And really coming down to, where are your boundaries? How do you communicate? And where do you take time for yourself? And always having the time for yourself, having that time to be and be creative. So it's not just in the shower that you get your good ideas, but you have time in your day that you can be the CEO in your business.
I love that. And we have some love that came through from before. So calendars for remembering all of our goals, and thoughts for sharing time. And my calendar keeps me on top of everything that I do. Awesome. I'm going to highlight what you just shared, Alyssa, because that, for me, when I started being an entrepreneur, I felt that if I took a break, it meant that I was weak. If I didn't work and hustle to the point of collapsing, of exhaustion, I felt like that meant I wasn't really serious about my business. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until my third business. So I did that with my personal training business. I did it with my Pilates studio that I ran for about 10 years. And then I did it with a PR agency. So actually I owned a PR agency. So I would say I learned it with FemCity, doing FemCity, that I was burning out. I was literally like not able to function. And going back to that self-care, and I'm saying this for those of you that are out there, that if you do not take the time to do self-care, it is not selfish. It does not mean that you're a narcissist. It does not mean that you are an egomaniac. It just means that all humans need to take breaks. And it doesn't mean that you're not serious about your business. It means that you are serious and you want to be able to have longevity in your business and your brand. So you do have to take those breaks, and the self-worth aspect as well. Every time I've taken a break, I come back with more clarity. Things just look a little bit different. I always make more money also. So if you are out there thinking that you have to hustle until you collapse, that is the old way of thinking, and that is not going to sustain you for a long-term vision of success. So I love that you shared that. So for those that are out there, start scheduling in that self-care time and believing that you're worth it. Go ahead, Alyssa.
And a quick food for thought is, the 9 to 5 was based on manual labor jobs.
Yeah.
And you're physically doing things and you're exhausted and you go home, but it doesn't matter what the breaks you have. We're now working mind jobs where it's our mind that needs to work, and our mind cannot go 9 to 5. You cannot be creative. You cannot solve problems working all the time. And so we have to change that dynamic of, this is a mind business that we're in. It takes brain power. How do we feed our brain?
Yeah, love that. And that was another huge like aha moment for me, because I was like, who am I stressing out over if I get to the office at 8 a.m.? I mean, I could take a call in the car. I could take it while walking Georgie. So I don't work on Fridays. That's a perfect example. And Thursday afternoon, by Thursday, 3 o'clock, I stop working because my brain can't handle anymore. I'm no good. You know, like I don't even retain information. It comes in and just, I don't even know what you're saying. So anyway, all right. So we do have some love that came through. So Jamie says, it took me over a decade to transition fully to Google Calendar, but I love being able to set alarms and reminders. I'll never go back. Yes, color coding is a life changer. And I'd love to learn how to combine iPhone, Wix, and Google Calendar. So I'm going to write that down as a FemCity class that we can offer you. I'm assuming that you're saying that we should teach that class. So I'll go ahead and put that in our notes so that we can go ahead and have someone teach that class for you. I know we have some virtual assistants in our FemCity Global program that could probably teach that class. And then Jamie, you can't give what you don't have. You need to have time for yourself so you can better serve others. And that's what it comes down to, is that if you have to make sure that you are charged before you can charge up everybody else with your spirit and your energy. All right, so speaking of energy, Delia, what is your number one tip for organizing life and business?
Great. So my tip is actually inspired from my work with children and teenagers for their schoolwork, but it can be very well applied to, any kind of work that you're doing as a business owner. So with them, I say set some rules and set some deadlines for yourself before any new project. So for kids, right, they have a project, they might have an essay that's due, they might have a test that is coming within a week or so. When you hear about those deadlines, which for us as business owners could mean that I'm starting a new collaboration and a project, this person depends on me to be done within a month, or I have social media posts that I need to put out there. I kind of know about those. It's going to take me about a week. The deadline is when you set it. When you do that, go back 2, 3, even a week and set that deadline for yourself. So don't consider that the deadline is that exact day that you said initially that you're going to have things done. Okay, give yourself some time, because surprises are going to appear, things are going to come up. You might not be able to work one day when you said, and I know there's just so many people who say, oh, but I work so good under pressure. That day when I have this it's really so comfortable. Your mind is going to be so organized. It's going to feel so good to know that you finished 2 days before, with time to spare for some self-care, or for just, taking the afternoon off and not doing anything. So try to work through this, put that in calendar, like Anne said, and just build in some time for yourself, related to what Alyssa was saying, boundaries and things like that. So, try this to just go 2 days before that and see how good it's going to feel. Wow, I actually finished 2-3 days in advance.
I love
Yay.
that. I love
Feels
that.
so
Giving yourself
good.
a buffer. Yeah, giving yourself a little bit of buffer so that you're not running on that intensity of like having to finish, a minute after it's due.
Yeah.
I have to say that's also, I think, something that I see women entrepreneurs and small business owners and women that are developing and growing their careers is that we that sensation of like trying to do everything as fast as we can at the last minute is like an adrenaline. I had it for sure. I was addicted to that busy sensation. So I would procrastinate, push myself, because I was feeding off that anxiety, stressful kind of situation of getting it done. Because then I was like, oh my gosh, look at me. I finished it in like, no time. So it was not a good place to be in health wise, because you're running on that adrenaline, that stress, and that wears down your adrenals and it wears down your just everything. So I was addicted to that for a really long time. Like, let's see how much I can possibly do. Let me see how many boards I can sit on. Let me see how many things I can say yes to, and then knock it out of the park. Because then I also was receiving external praise from people saying, wow, I don't know how you do that. You're so incredible. So that fed that unhealthy side of like wanting to do more. It's actually a very sick place. Like that feeling that you have to be Wonder Woman to push your limits. So anyway, that I had that too. So, all right, Anne, final tip that you have for our femmes when it comes to organizing life and business.
I guess I would say my final tip is everything's probably going to take longer than you think it is. So don't over schedule yourself. I usually will only have maybe 3 priority things for business that have to be done that day, and figure that everything else potentially could be shifted or move around. So it always ends up taking longer than we think it will. It just always does.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And things happen. Like Delia was saying, things happen, like you don't think it will, but the dog may throw up on the carpet and now you have 2 hours of scrubbing that, which you didn't expect, So yeah, that's happened. That's happened to me too.
It happened to me last night, actually. So,
so awesome. All right, Alyssa, your final advice.
I love that as well. And on top of that is decluttering and letting go. As Violette said, it's very easy to be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do all the things, and I'm going to be the one that everyone looks up to. And just letting go of that have to be Wonder Woman, have to be it all. Of course, like we've all gone through this. That's why we could talk about it. And I just had to be one day, I'm like, what do I want my life to look like? I want to have flow and ease, and I don't want to be busy every single moment of the day. Do I really need this in my life? Okay, so prioritizing what do you need in your life and what can you let go of? What can you declutter? What is just taking up space that you're doing because you think other people think you should do it? And so, yeah, finding your core, finding your true values, and letting go of those things that don't bring you joy. I ask my clients all the time, does it bring you joy?
Yeah. I've released a lot of that. So I took on a lot of things during the pandemic. And now that we're kind of coming out of the state that we were in, I'm now releasing things. Like, does it bring me joy? Is it adding to our growth? You know what I mean? If it doesn't fall, like, it's just like, I'm letting it go. I don't care who thinks I should do it, or, you know, like, it's just not, because people, I think, feel that. And by the way, I hate that sensation of being stressed now, because it's been so nice to have flow. Like you mentioned, Alyssa, it's so nice to have flow that now when I do have, you know, some days and like I have to pick up, you know, kids and husband and like, you know, I cannot stand that anxiety. What used to fuel me, no longer, like I can't stand that feeling. It's horrible.
Retrained ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Delia, what is your final tip?
My final tip is don't multitask. We are just it's a tip for being organized in your work and in your life and in your mind. It's just so amazing how much clarity we gain through just being mindful, working on something and not, you know, being distracted by anything else. And I've actually, I don't know if Anne probably mentioned in terms of putting things in your calendar and blocking time, try to stay with a task for 45, 50 minutes. If you have something, and I know it's difficult, like I've been a couple of days ago, I had to work through, I really need to make some updates on my website that were just so overdue. And I made myself stay 50 minutes not moving. Like I went to the washroom before, had water, had a snack. I was perfectly, it was so difficult to actually see, like I felt that I had to get up and check your phone or do this or what's happened. So, but after that, it was so much work done in those. So actually research shows that, you know, tasks take 50% longer than we think they do when we multitask. We think, oh, I'm so productive, I'm doing this and that and this and that, and half the time. No, it's not. Actually, it takes so long to just pick up from where you left. So try it. If you haven't, if you feel that you, because I was like, I'm distracted many times. So when I did it, I was like, gosh, this is so difficult.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Yeah, and I love that you said it takes time to transition. You think it doesn't, but it takes time to not transition. Like we can easily go, oh, do I write or do I text? I mean, it's that when you go to text or when you go to email or when do you go to write your book or, you know, make sales calls, it takes time to get into that framework, that mindset. Okay, let me get organized on that. What is it that I wanted to say? How was I going to go ahead and write it? I mean, that all takes time and energy. So if you're constantly bumping around one to one, there's so much time that's going by that you could just be using to knock it out of the park. You know, set yourself up for that 45-minute time block. And then when you can finish in 30 minutes, because you're so focused on one task, then you have that 15 minutes to go and take a walk, you know, personal time, like Anne mentioned and Alyssa mentioned also. So, oh, I love that. Great advice. I had some, love that came through. That's good advice. So thank you so much. All right, ladies, we're rounding out the session. And where can Femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Hilltopoperations.com is my website. That's the easiest way to connect, and all sorts of fun stuff is there. So
awesome. All right, Alyssa?
AlyssaWilliamson.com is also the best place to find me, and I have a free guide how to make more money, work less, and live a life of adventure. And then also on Instagram, liveyourlife_adventure, because that's really my theme of what I help clients do.
Awesome. And we had some love that came through in the meantime. Thank you, Femmes, for the great tips. Multitasking is terrible. True. Yeah. I thought I was a great multitasker until I realized someone told me, Violet, try to think of two things at once. And I was like, I can't. Like, you literally can't think of two things at once. You can only think of one thing at a time. So the same holds true with multitasking. So I hear ya. All right, Delia, where can Femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
I guess the best place to find me would be on Instagram as well, Delia Rusu Wisdom Coach, and you know, see what I share there for children, and it's applicable for adults as well. All this mindset skills.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for all of your amazing tips. And Alyssa and Delia, thank you so much. I learned from this. I always learn from all of you. So thank you so much. And for those that joined us live, thank you so much for the love, for the comments, for the aha moments that you shared. Again, if you're watching the replay, because I know so many of you do on the weekends, you can still give us some love, comment, ask questions. We're here to serve you. We want to see you live your best life and have the grandest vision for your business or your career. So thank you so much. We'll see you back here next week. Mwah! Bye.
Bye.